What is Kiss? The Guillotine was actually about the series. Spends 11 parts cycling through institutions. The Ministry, the Confluence, the Schools, MES. And every one of them makes the same mistake in a different costume. Each believes it has found the correct, manageable, administrable amount of human feeling. Isolation, forced merger, protocol-based attachment, regulated bonding. Each system presents itself as the reasonable alternative to the failures of the last one, and each new generation is told, with total sincerity, that this time the formula is right. The real subject isn't any individual character's suffering. It's the impulse, recurring, bureaucratic, well-intentioned, to make an inherently unmanageable thing manageable, and what gets lost in the gap between the policy and the person standing inside it. That's worth sitting with on its own terms, separate from how the series chose to dramatize it. Because the series' actual flaw, looking back, is that it kept resolving that gap through the deaths of its own characters, treating dying as a more honest answer than the systems failing them, instead of treating the systems as the thing that was failing. Sophia's note, River's ceremony, Jordan's repetition of her sister's last act. These were written to read as clarity. They aren't clarity. They're what happens when a story runs out of other ideas for what survival could look like, and reaches for the most final image available instead. The swimmer, floater, sinker taxonomy is the clearest evidence of this, as an allegory for different capacities for connection. It's a real and useful idea. Not everyone metabolizes attachment, trauma, or intimacy the same way. And a culture that only has one template for doing relationships right will fail a lot of people who aren't broken, just different. That's a true and humane observation. But the series kept collapsing that insight into a hierarchy with a trapdoor at the bottom. Swim, float, or die with dignity. That third category was never actually a fourth option. It was the absence of one, dressed in the language of choice. The strongest material in the whole project is the part that doesn't depend on that trapdoor at all, the connection restriction act ending. Myra and Theo aren't given a taxonomy to sort themselves into. They're given a law that criminalizes the thing they feel, and they answer it by feeling it anyway, out loud, on the record, in front of the people trying to legislate it out of them. Nobody dies to make that scene work. The defiance is the content. That's the version of the water is too deep that the series should have been building toward all along. Not some people drown, and that's a kind of honesty. But the people telling you the water is dangerous are often the same people who drained the shore of anywhere safe to stand. If there's a real thesis buried under all the metaphor, it's this: societies that can't tolerate the risk of feeling don't eliminate the risk. They just relocate it onto whichever generation is least equipped to carry it alone, in classrooms and tribunals, and managed programs designed by people who have never had to. The tragedy in these stories was never that some characters couldn't swim. It's that nobody in power ever once asked why the water kept getting deeper.